What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 69th episode of the MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society. Jeremy Johnson, along with Jim Range and Craig Nasello. How we doing, boys?
Doing well. Yourself?
I'm not too shabby. Look at us. We are live right there.
It's a Tuesday, not a Monday. It's weird.
It is. What?
Oh, it is Monday. Never mind.
Jimmy, are you feeling all right?
No, I'm totally out of whack.
Do you have a fever?
Nope.
Are you sure?
I got COVID.
No, you don't, because COVID doesn't exist. Remember that, kids. Okay, so...
We're never getting monetized. And I haven't even spoke yet.
I know, that's terrifying. Craig, how you doing
I
over
kept
there,
the
buddy?
language down.
I'm tired.
That happens. All right, so tonight, this is going to be a good one, of course. We're going to bring you, all of our cool stuff that we do. Tonight, I got into a bit of a Twitter beef. Actually, I was brought into it by a friend of Craig's on Twitter, and it was all about Canadian whiskey, Canada, etc., or as I like to call it, our 51st state now. So that's coming. No? No? It's not?
I don't know.
It's fine. Okay, but anyway, we were talking Canadian whiskey, and so they all asked, well, would you do a segment on Canadian whiskey? So I said, no, we'll do an entire night of Canadian whiskey. So tonight, that is what it is all about. So including even our drink this evening is going to be Canadian whiskey. So tonight we are going to we need a name for it that's very Canadian. So we're going to make a Canadian old-fashioned with a bit of Canadian whiskey, some Canadian maple syrup.
Call it the Gordie Howe.
How about a Trudeau old fashioned?
Are these hockey jokes that I don't get?
Trudeau is the.
Oh, Trudeau, got it. Okay, is he still
Trudeau
there?
fashion, yeah, he's still there.
Okay, nice. All right, we're going to start off with an ice cube because we need those. Next up, we are going to go with some Canadian whiskey. Which one shall we pull from our Sip, Sink, and Save tonight, or from our Is It Worth It, which we are doing Caribou Crossing, which apparently is like the most expensive, hard-to-get bottle of Canadian whiskey ever that I walked into a store and just bought.
Yeah.
So,
It's probably hard to get in Kenny.
well, everything's hard to get in Canada because we don't own them yet. Wow, I got nothing on that one. Okay.
I think you go with the Crown.
Going Crown Royal? All right.
Well, I was trying to think which way to go, and
Crown Royal. All right, we're going to start off with 2 ounces of Canadian whiskey. That's a lot right there. Whew, this is going to be terrifying.
oh boy, here we go.
Yeah. You know what's great, though? Matt's going to drink the first one.
Yep.
We are going to go with 3/4 of an ounce of maple syrup.
Matt gets to drink the first one.
Yes, Matt
Yes.
gets to drink the first one. We'll go with that. So, all right. From there, we're going to come down here and grab a bit of our molasses bitters.
We're just going to keep it going, aren't we?
Eggs 100%. We're going to go 4 dashes. I think that's fair. All right. Give it a good stir. Oh, that makes noise. That's weird.
Yeah, it's rich
I
glass on the
really
inside.
picked the wrong glass for this.
Rib for her pleasure.
Thanks for joining, Craig. That was awesome. Okay.
I woke up, sorry.
Wasn't even ready for that one. All right. But basically, that would be your Canadian old-fashioned. Yep, you're going to love this. Here you go, Matt. That's for you. All right. Of course, you can always check out our drinks on Twitter or X or whatever they call it this week at MMA Bourbon. Tell me, Matt, that's pretty damn delicious. So if anybody wants one of those, let me know. They are extremely sweet and very light. So,
I'll try one.
You want to try one? Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to do a glass that doesn't make that noise because that happened.
That one won't.
No, this one won't. Very nice. Very sweet. It's very sweet, though. So, all right. Tonight, though, let's see. That's what you get. Oh, that's great. Brad Carey in the comments. That's what you get for the 69th episode. We got ribbed for her pleasure on the
man.
69th episode from our sponsor. That's awesome. So, all right, guys.
You
Tonight,
got ribbed? You just said
I'm
we
over
got
here.
ribbed. Didn't he?
Yes, he did.
No, I did not.
That's exactly what you...
No, it didn't happen, Jimmy. Shush. Okay, tonight we are talking all about Canadian whiskey. So, Jim, are you familiar or are you a fan of Canadian whiskey?
A little bit.
What was your Canadian whiskey choice as a kid? Because that's where we all started drinking this. Let's be honest.
It's got to be the Canadian Club or the Crown.
Crown and Coke.
Crown and Coke, huh? Ugh.
See, I came from a poor blue collar family. Crown was high class. I got Canadian Club.
So Canadian Club is like the cheap, low
Yeah.
shelf, right?
80 proof, low. Like actually, I think Crown's probably 80 proof too, isn't it?
I would assume.
Yes.
They sell that at Costco then with like the salted caramel.
So
Yeah, Crown went all the way across the board with everything: apple, blackberry, salted caramel.
all right, well, let's talk about what makes Canadian whiskey Canadian whiskey.
It's cheap.
Okay, it's cheap. That it is. For everything across the board, the grand total retail was a whopping $150. And I will tell you, one of the bottles was basically $100. So, yeah, it wasn't much of anything. All right, let's see what this one is. Better with less sugar. Not bad, though. Not bad at all. Okay, so Canadian whiskey, though. There was a big rigmarole on Twitter. What was better, American bourbon or Canadian whiskey? So I had to go down a rabbit hole and figure out what Canadian whiskey really was. And so Canadian whiskey has basically three things. It has to be made in Canada. It has to be distilled and mashed in Canada. And it has to be made from grain. Welcome to Canadian whiskey.
Any grain.
Any grain. It can be made from any grain. It has to be aged in a wooden barrel.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't have to be new. It doesn't have to be charred. It just has to be wooden. And that's it. The other thing that I found that was really interesting about this is that you can flavor or add additives to Canadian whiskey. So you can add wine, you can add American bourbon, which I'm assuming some of these do because they taste better.
So you're saying Canadian whiskey's not as good as
So
bourbon?
like I said, I went down the rabbit hole, and to get Canadian whiskey made, they actually distill their spirit up to 180 to 190 proof. So basically, they're making vodka.
Right.
Which, what does vodka do? It has no taste. It kicks everything out of it. This is why it doesn't give you a hangover, because they've taken all of the stuff out that whenever you distill bourbon up to 125 proof, it doesn't do anything anymore.
I've had vodka hangovers before.
Well,
I have two.
you both drink a lot, so I don't do that. So, Sean Johnson, strict Canadian or strict standards in Canada, eh? So, I don't know, hoser. But anyway, I actually saw part of that movie once. What was it? What is it called?
Stage brew.
Yeah, the brothers with the
Strange
beer.
brew? Yep.
There was a
Hey.
mouse in the beer or something. Yeah. So,
Bob and Doug McKenzie?
it's impressive. I don't know.
Moranis and,
Yep.
So now, Canadian whiskey though, known for its light flavors. Craig, are you a fan?
of some of them. The ones we have on the table right now, not so much.
Well, I mean that's fair, but what? Okay, so what was?
I like Crown.
Do you?
Yeah.
I didn't mind that in a drink. It wasn't. It's not bad in the drink.
Yeah. No. If you're doing a drink, it's
Crown and Coke, Crown and Sprite.
you know, Washington apples with the Crown. Those are pretty good. It's a shot. It's pretty
Oh,
good.
okay. So, yeah, the bigger thing is though, American whiskey. It has a whole ton of standards to it, and the thing that got me though was the idea that you can put caramel coloring into it. So it's just like any food additive that you can change the colors of. So what makes that good, Canada? Let us know before you become our 51st state. That's right. So, all right, Jimmy. I'm going to get into our sip, sync, and save here in just a bit.
My
but
only question is, do they both do it doggy style so they can both watch the hockey game? That's my only question. I asked that of all Canadians.
No. I'm leaving on that one. No. Actually, we're going to try this Crown and Coke idea. That sounds pretty good. Because I'm not a fan of what I made there, Matt. It's too sweet. So, what did you
Bottle
think of
openers
it?
in there.
Producer Matt, what did you think of the drink?
I think it's pretty good.
Do you
I
really?
think it's too sweet for me. One would be enough, like it is a dessert drink.
And the funny thing is, you have less than like half the maple syrup that I did.
Yeah.
So. All right. Ladies
I
and
like
gentlemen,
maple
this is a
syrup.
very loose show because Canadians freak me out. It's kind of like little people.
It opens up like this.
Exactly. That South Park screwed me up for Canadian people.
Terrence and Phillips.
Yes.
Terrence and Phillips got you messed up.
Terrence and Phillip always mess me up.
Sean Johnson, yum, tastes like tariffs.
Oh.
You can tell I've been out of it for a while.
Oh my goodness,
Yep.
that's great. Okay. All right. Craig, would you like a Crown and Coke?
I mean, I might as well. I'm fucking
Let's do it right here.
sober.
Nope, don't like that either. Okay, well, I'm batting 100 on this one, so. I get it, I guess.
Better than the other shit.
I mean, that's fair, but
I mean, the standards aren't very fucking
yeah,
high.
there's
Right.
not a lot of.
We don't have much to work with.
Well, and like you said, there's
mean-
not a lot of standard to it. So.
How is it compared to Jack Daniels? Since they're both whiskeys, not bourbons.
Oh, 100%. This is nowhere near as good as Jack Daniels. I mean,
checking.
for real. There's just no taste to it. It's not good. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you. Let me know. Let's see. What about a little? Oh boy. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you a fan or no of Canadian whiskey, ladies and gentlemen? So. Oh, we lost Craig. For
We
a
lost
moment.
Craig
I got
for a
it.
moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Craig had emergency.
What? I can't do the Canadian accent thing. I just can't do it. So,
And I'm laughing out, so I can't. I'm just trying to think of a good comeback for the little Canadian.
I'm done with all of this talk right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going all the way. I'm jumping back to. I'm going to sip, sink, and save because this has got to get out of this Canadian stuff. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, again, of course, it's brought to you our sip, sink, and save tonight. Jimmy, what do we do for our sip, sink, and save? Explain the rules to them.
All right. For the rules, essentially you pick one that's going to be your daily sipper, one that goes down the shitter, and one you save for special occasions.
And it's all brought to you by Unrivaled Realty. That's right, Brad Carey. Call or text him at 314-378-6939. So I'm hard pressed to even jump into this one because, as you can see, we're a little
solved it.
on the defense of how to even do this show tonight with all of this Canadian stuff.
But I solved the problem with these three.
And what is that?
Sip, sink, save.
It's so here's what got me. with
This one,
though.
there's nothing to it. So honestly, if I had to choose, this would be the sink.
But let's get into what this really is first, okay? So this is Canadian whiskey, rich and rare. It's actually made by the Sazerac Company, all right? We have our Crown Royal this evening, which is apparently the preemptive Canadian whiskey. If you're from Canada, that's what you got to have. And then we have Canadian Mist, which my grandfather drank by the glass with ice.
And my grandfather used to have it with he'd buy the handles of it.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what he
Must be an
drank
old
every
person
day.
thing.
Can you, since these are kind of unique bottles, can you give us like the approximate price on all of those?
Sure. So can you hear me, by the way? Okay, I just want to make sure. All right. So let's talk about, because these are bare bones bottles, this right here is a bottom shelf $12 bottle of Canadian whiskey. Crown Royal.
Matt got excited.
Apparently the fine deluxe blended Canadian whiskey, crafted as a gift for royalty at 80 proof, is a whopping $25. Next, we jump over to the Canadian Mist, which again, 40 proof, so we're all 40 proof across the, or 40% alcohol, 80 proof. Canadian Mist, $14. So what this all really tells me is you can get really drunk really cheap on Canadian whiskey. Have you ever been really drunk on really cheap Canadian whiskey?
Yeah.
You ever been drunk with a really cheap Canadian?
Yes.
Okay.
We won't go into details though. My
Let's
mother
not
might be
do that.
watching.
Let's
I'm
not
sure
do
my
that.
wife will.
Okay. All right. So Jim Range, since it's just you and me right now, I want you to give me, again, your sip, sink, and save, but I want reasons why.
All right. What would be my sipper, because to me it's the best one to sip, obviously is not going to be, but I'm going to sip the Canadian Mist.
Okay.
Okay. Just because I'm not saving that for when people come over on special occasions. I hate to say it.
You don't want to treat your
it's
guests
young.
to a $14 bottle of whiskey?
I have before, but
But it was made in America and it was delicious. That was before they're going to be our 51st state.
that's right. So we may have to change our minds on it. So that's going to be my sipper. I'm sinking the rich and rare That had absolutely nothing to it. No flavor, nothing. Nothing on the nose, nothing on the palate, nothing on the finish. And I'm going to save the Crown. One, I think you can probably do a little bit more with it mixing, even though you probably could do Canadian Mist as well. But I'd rather pour that for somebody and have them enjoy just a single pour of it than any of the other two.
Well, I don't know. I'm with you on where you're at. Craig, so give me your sip, sink, and save on these, and I know that this was a tough one to deal with for you.
I'm going to sink the Canadian Mist, I'm going to sip the fucking Crown, and the other one is going to be safe because it could probably be used as a mixer. It tastes a little bit better than the Canadian Mist. Not much.
Okay.
Did you get the I
You
don't
said
know.
something about grapes. It's got a weird taste to it.
It does, but
It
it
tastes
almost
like tastes like moonshine, but they added something to it.
coloring. That would be 100%. That would be what it
Yeah.
was. Because if they're running this legitimately, if they're running this up to 180 proof, it's moonshine. I mean,
Right.
it's nothing but white dog distillate in a barrel for a little bit because it has to be aged for a minimum of 3 years. They do have to say that. 3
But that's the thing,
years.
you're going from 180 and you're watering it down to 80. So you've
Exactly.
got nothing left.
Yeah, there's no flavor
Even at 80
whatsoever.
proof, the flavor, everything's gone.
No, the flavor comes from whatever flavoring caramel color in whatever barrel they're using and whatever they're mixing it with.
Now
But
I
that
wanna
is
try
why
this
it's
one
so
again.
light. But tell me, do you get grapes on the
I
nose
did.
with
I
this?
didn't the first time.
So when you get it over the palate, you get, to me, you got Concord grape a little bit. So talk me through it. That means talk while you're doing this.
I know. I do get a little
Good
bit,
Lord.
but it's very light on it. It's almost like fruitcakey. It's not. You don't get the
Okay.
spice or anything that you get.
I'll
with
go
it, but
fruitcake.
So the Canadian Mist is on the same price point as an Old Grandad. But Old
Oh,
Grandad,
Canadian-
how much better is...
Oh my God. It's, so, number one, there's not a comparison. There isn't. American whiskey has a taste. This doesn't really have a taste. It's just light. There's a
Yeah.
little bit to it, but there's nothing gigantic to it that makes anything happen.
And I do get a little bit of grape now.
You get what I'm
Focusing on
saying?
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying with it.
So, all right. So, my sip, sink, and save on this is I wholeheartedly agree with what you said in the beginning because these both are just not good. They're the get you drunk when you're 15 kind of thing. But if I was going to have to do any of it, I'm going to agree with Craig that I am going to sip the Crown Royal, I'm going to sink the Canadian Mist, and I'm going to save the R&R because I think that probably if you put enough crap to it, it will taste like something. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think. And is there a better Canadian whiskey out there that we're missing? Because I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, I couldn't find one. I went through the entire liquor section of a major retailer and could not find anything else that looked even close.
Some of the Crown Royal flavors are pretty good.
Now let's talk about the flavored stuff. So I 100%, I love the peach. The blackberry is amazing.
Blackberry is incredible.
But it's,
But you got a flavor with it then to drink and mix and do something with it.
well, not only that, but it's good. Don't get me wrong. The peach was amazing when we did that
Well, we
stuff.
had Jack Daniel's apple while we were on vacation.
That shocked the hell out of me.
Was it good?
It was really
Yes.
Really? So,
Was that Jeremy's phone that just beeped?
shouldn't have been. Oh my God. We are just off tonight with this stuff. Oh, I do. I got my ringer up. That would be it. Okay.
According to Google, Bareface is Canadian's best whiskey.
Excuse me. Canadian Mist is up here, man. So. But no, for real, like in the store, I couldn't find anything that wasn't like $11 to $15 bottle that would have deemed it something bigger. There are other representations of Crown Royal that aren't flavored. There's like an XO, there's a Crown Royal Black, which is supposed to be aged longer. So I could see where those would be something.
Right.
But for the standard options, there's not a lot to it. There isn't a lot of flavor. There isn't a lot of whatever. But I agree with you. I think that if we're going to do a Canadian whiskey, we might as well do them in the flavors. So maybe next time we'll throw all of the Crown Royal or some of the Crown Royal flavors in a sip, sink, and save. And see
Maybe
where
we go a
with it.
sip, sink, and save with different flavored whiskeys.
Ooh, okay. I know we did cinnamon once, and that was interesting.
Cinnamon almond.
It is what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think, though. Do you drink Canadian whiskey? Do you like Canadians? Do you ready for the? Are you ready for Canada to be the 51st state? Yes? No? Maybe? Let me know in the comments. All right. Again, that is all brought to you. We also have a bottle tonight, though, that they claim is one of the best and hardest to find Canadians as we jump to our Is It Worth It segment. This is an allocated Canadian whiskey made by who else but Buffalo Trace. So apparently Buffalo Trace has a distillery in Canada that they have
So
purchased
they make
into.
both of these.
Yes, 100% they make both of those.
Really?
Yes. Hard to believe, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
They're both not good.
This is better than the other three, though.
It's fucking stretching it a little bit. But
All
We
right.
didn't
Well,
much,
I mean,
you
it's
didn't
not
much to work.
terrible.
You didn't much to work with the other
it's
three,
not
Craig.
terrible. It's just not. It just doesn't taste like a Buffalo Trace standard.
I'm sorry, I looked down at the comments and there's a message that says, I love Canadians. I had a very nice conversation with a Mountie once.
Back in the country without a passport.
Way to go. That's why we got border problems and we need to make them our 51st state. Okay. No? All right, anyway. Craig, so we'll start
Oh
off
my
with,
God.
I purchased this bottle tonight at $70.
I mean,
Okay.
$70 isn't bad. It's not great.
Average price is $100. So give me your thoughts.
It's not. So average price for a regular bottle of Blanton's is $100 right now in secondary.
Right.
That gets its ass kicked by Blanton's.
And that's
Retail's the same, too.
All right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Retail's the same.
Yeah, retail's like $54.
I like it. I like the barrel, the bottle, and the stopper. I think it's cool. You know, it's kind of got. Again, I didn't know it was Buffalo Trace. Now that you say that, what's it look like?
Oh, it's a Rock Hill
Rock
Farms
Hill.
bottle.
Right.
With a Blanton's
Blanton's
topper.
topper.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I like it. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad.
Yep.
But it's just not.
But again, it's super light.
Yeah.
There isn't a whole lot of flavor to it. Yes, producer Matt.
We need to try them side by side with Travelers and see the kill difference.
So,
Blind taste test. Pepsi or Coke? We doing a Pepsi or Coke challenge?
There's one down here
I was
somewhere.
going to say, we've got a bunch of them somewhere. Here it is. Okay, impromptu.
It's hard to find the 3 or 4 bottles that are underneath or pick one from the other.
Oh, look at the color. Ooh, that's pretty close.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's pretty close.
All right. Hand me the benchmark down there. So the rumors are that Traveler is 70% Canadian whiskey here and 30% benchmark.
Oh, where's the benchmark at?
Buffalo Trace would work, but okay, there's that. All right.
I thought there was a benchmark. I don't see it.
That's all right. We can go Buffalo Trace to be the same thing.
Look, almost identical.
They really do look almost identical in color. All right, let's go with the Buffalo Trace or something to that effect, because it would need to be a SAS product.
This is what happens
This is
when we
what
go
happens
off
when we don't
script,
prepare.
guys.
All right, anyway.
That's either one.
It's the same thing. 100% it's the same thing.
One's a little more expensive though.
They smell identical.
Yep.
We just cracked the mystery. That's the Travelers.
Or is it?
That's the exact same fucking thing.
Yep. Jimmy? And I think that you would get, because there's a little bit on the Traveler that doesn't
Holy
have.
shit.
Yeah.
It's
It
scary.
doesn't have the just the tinge of oak to it, which I have a feeling is where the 30% of the other comes from. And if that's what hits, I'm telling you it's got to be it.
Pretty damn close.
Yeah, 100%.
If it's not exactly, it's they're pulling something slightly different to say it, but it's
like I said,
almost identical.
From the rumor mill, it was 70-30, and I was told that I was pretty close when I came to that. So, Interesting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, though. All right.
What was that?
My back.
Craig Nasello, is it worth it?
No.
Okay. Jimmy Range, give me your thoughts on it.
At $70, no. At $100, definitely no.
Is it worth it at retail?
That's why I said 70 first. I said
No, 70. It's only a $54 bottle.
even at that, I don't think it is. There's so many more better bottles.
You
I
can
can
buy
get-
a Traveler for less than that.
Yeah, you can buy a Traveler for $24. Get damn near the same thing, but you don't get the cool mousse on top.
I mean, I do like the stopper.
The stopper's cool, but it's not like Blanton's that has numbers to it or anything, does it?
Lance, this got numbers on it?
Not numbers, letters.
That hockey.
Yeah.
It spells out the maple leafs.
Which have never won anything in how long either.
Brad Carey says add Sprite. No.
To what?
Not a bad idea.
To this, I could see it, but it would just be because then it's just fruity and
Well, but that's-
alcohol.
New is supposed to be with Jack Daniels, so.
Well,
But that's
yeah,
how
that's good.
Canadian Mist used to be drank here in the States with Sprite.
Really?
7 and 7,
Yeah, that's
Seagram
actually
7. So
Seagram
Seagram's we don't have up here, but it's the same thing.
No, I do like some Seagram.
Yeah,
Well,
Seagram's is better than these three.
But Seagram's is an American whiskey, and until Canada becomes a 51st state, I would look that up. Seagram 7 is not a Canadian whiskey.
Now, if it becomes the 51st state, does that change the bourbon laws?
I think it absolutely. Well, it wouldn't be bourbon though, because it's not. It's made from any grain.
Well,
it's not. It doesn't follow the
It
laws.
don't have to be licensed as bourbon, but they'll call it a Canadian whiskey, similar to Tennessee whiskey.
Tennessee whiskey's not bourbon.
Federally, it is.
It's
Fred
not
Minnick
bourbon.
says so too.
It's not bourbon.
That's fine.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Is Caribou Crossing? Have you been trying to find it? Because apparently it's a very sought-after bottle. I had to ask for it, but they'll let
I
me
mean,
have
we
one,
see
so.
people in the groups ask for it, look for it all the time.
100%, and I can't figure
So-
out why. Literally now, at all.
But I mean,
So,
just let's just throw it out. This is what we love about whiskey in general. Everybody has their own tastes. Everybody likes something different.
100%.
To
So,
somebody, a $500 bottle might be garbage. To somebody else, a $100 bottle might be something they would pay $1,000 for.
you mean like that Thomas Handy that you bought that last time? That was just absolute hot garbage.
That was a William Lou Weller.
William Weller.
Was it the Weller that was bad? I thought the
That
Handy
you
was
didn't
bad
like?
too.
You know how much is left of that bottle?
You probably drank it, didn't you? Yeah, I figured. So. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to jump over to the world of combat sports, which is, of course, brought to you by Yoroi Tape, the best in hand wrapping, athletic needs, and all of that. Check them out at YoroiUSA.com. All right. A lot of good MMA went down, though. One, Mr. Craig Nasello spent a little bit of time in Atlanta, Georgia with Invicta. Talk to me kind of about the fights. It looked, what I got to see was really good.
We had some really good fights. Very well matched. A couple girls beat the hell out of each other.
Oh,
A couple,
100%.
few of them. It was a couple of fights like that. It was really good. It was Invicta 60. Went down in Atlanta, Georgia. It was pretty fun. I know the next one's April 4th. Don't know where.
Don't know where yet?
That's yeah. Don't know where at yet. So I don't know. But yeah, the main event was good. Sucked my girl Olga got the L on that one, but
Yeah.
she got clobbered in the first bad.
Was it enough to kind of knock her silly?
Yeah, it knocked her silly, and then it was just she was there, but she wasn't there. Instincts was fighting for a while there.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
just one of those things. And there was things that I think she did well, and then there's things that just having a concussion, messes
Oh,
you
absolutely,
up.
100%.
Yep.
She got a little head trauma, and there's nothing you can do to fix it, but fight through it.
Yeah, 100%.
So she.
But I love what Invicta does. It's still one of those that, like, they're doing the traveling show. They've got the CBS Sports deal. The CBS Sports thing, though, it was a little hard to find some of it.
Yeah, I don't
There's only a couple places it's on. YouTube TV and
DirecTV, I know for sure because I had DirecTV for years and I could get it on
I get you.
DirecTV. But I think you can add it to your regular cable. But
Okay.
I'm not positive.
Well,
I don't get to see it because I'm traveling
You're working.
on
Yeah.
there, so it's not like I can.
but I watch because I get to see you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we stare at you
It's
lovingly
got.
on the
Well,
television.
you got YouTube TV, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
See, I
That's the
did.
only place I've seen it other than DirecTV.
I gotcha. Yeah, I got to watch the prelims on YouTube because they do the lead up card,
Yep.
which is really good. And that was That's the thing, is it gives the women a podium to really kind of showcase their talents.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
and that's the next big jump. You know, you go from there to the UFC. So,
Yeah, I mean, they're the #1 women's organization in the world, so for a reason. So
Yep. What's interesting when you watch on YouTube, because you get
Still
all
don't
the
like
comments
Canadian
going, you get all the comments going through, and it's like, holy crap.
yeah. Oh, but
Like with
that's-
regular fights, they'll throw a tweet up here and there,
well,
and that, but on there, it's like, oh my God, you just got a constant run of the feed. You're just like trying to watch the fight, but then you'll see something out of the corner of your eye. It's like, then you start following because you're going down a rabbit hole with the obnoxious shit going on over there.
the stupid shit that's said.
Yes.
100%.
And it is.
And half those people that are talking shit would get crushed by every one
Right.
of the girls
Every
in the car.
one of them.
Yeah.
And that's just it. You know, that's all the ladies that fight out in that organization, and really any organization. You know, they are as tough as they come, and they're out there to put on a show. And that's what I like about them.
I get so sick of seeing comments of people running their mouth. It's like I seen something on Johnny Eblin's Instagram the other day, and someone was saying something about Buckley. He barely beat the guy that Buckley made a highlight reel out of, and blah blah. I'm like, but you're talking shit, and you probably don't ever fucking train, or if you do train, you've had maybe 1 or 2 amateur fights.
Yeah.
And you're not that fucking good.
None of those people who talk shit online
It
are
just drives
trained.
me. It drives me absolutely up the wall. It's like, God, shut the fuck up. You
Absolutely.
don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, but Invicta, great show. Check them out on their next one. You said April 4th?
April 4th. I don't know where at yet.
Okay.
As soon as I know, I'll announce it here.
We're going to see what Little Ice does.
Absolutely. I'm afraid to even. Which one is that? Oh, that's Caribou, right?
I don't know.
All right. Moving on to the world of UFC. I don't know if you guys got to see it or not. It was one of the worst nose breaks that I have ever seen, and that was Dricus du Plessis taking on Sean Strickland in this past week's UFC. Sean Strickland's nose was freaking toast. He said at the afterwards it was broken 6 places. Can you imagine?
No.
He said the best part was that it was so malleable to put back together that he thinks he'll be able to breathe better. Can you
Because it's
imagine?
going to get rid of all the other broken up cartilage and shit that he's got in there.
Franklin?
Absolutely, it was worse than Rich Franklin's
Yes.
nose. 100%. 100%. Like by far. It was, it splattered and it never, you could tell he never recovered. So when you work in the fight business and you see a lot of broken nose, and Craig, you can attest to this, you'll start to watch the guys try to pull it, or they'll start to do this.
I had a girl that her nose wasn't broke over at Invicta, but she cleared her sinuses and her eye goes.
Oh, yeah.
I looked at her coach. I'm like, don't let her blow her nose next round.
Do you remember when Eddie Alvarez did
His
that?
eye popped out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with broken noses, man. They can be
Watching
bad, so-
K-pop's reaction right now is awesome. This is where I wish we had a screen behind us that we're showing the video so the people watching us right now,
Yeah.
we can see their reactions too.
So the girl had she had a little bit of swelling over her eye. It wasn't that bad, and a little bit under. It wasn't that bad. And then she blew her nose. As I walked out of the cage, and I turned around, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" She blew her nose. As soon as I seen it, I was like, "I knew what she did."
Yeah.
Because it was not swollen that bad until that happened.
Oh.
But that's your gut thing to do. Your instinct is to do
Yeah.
it, and it's the
I'm trying to
worst thing
clear
you
the
can
sinuses.
do.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like I got my nose broke at
Yeah.
and training, and I was like, couldn't breathe because I had so much blood stuck up in there from it bleeding
Sure.
so bad.
Yep.
And I couldn't breathe, and I'm like, I gotta blow my nose, but I know if I blow my nose, I'm not gonna be able to see.
Yep.
And I was just like, fuck.
It sucks. And I mean, I've had my nose broke 7 times. And it's, yeah, I know. It's pretty straight, but
One time, I'm good.
7 times. And it is one of the worst things to do. So the biggest problem is that then you can't see because
Yeah.
your eyes are watering because your nose is busted up. You can't breathe,
Yeah.
and you're running just everywhere,
It's running
everywhere.
down your throat, you're running down your nose, down your mouth. You just
And
depending on how bad it, some of them don't bleed. I've seen them not bleed.
Right.
Broke as shit and not bleed.
well, I mean, you remember whenever I did the fight, the first thing you did was shove epinephrine up my nose before we ever started because the first punch of the fight broke my nose. I mean,
I was
it
like,
just, yep,
"Maybe go ahead
100%.
and
Well,
just do
that's
this."
because he knows you're like this and leave the middle
Right, I
wide
just leave them
you're
open,
gonna
let them hit
get
me in
it.
the face. But I mean, yeah, so.
Now I got my fucking nose. Just thinking about my nose. Fucking,
So no, if you have not seen it yet, go check it out on Twitter. It
the
is
ghost
one of the
that's wrong.
grossest nose
Yeah.
breaks I have seen. So All right, producer Matt, I hope you've got a microphone or something because I'm going to ask you about this one. I still don't quite understand it, but the Global Fight League had their draft.
Yeah.
So okay,
And
so,
I can't figure it out.
yeah,
Matt has
I'm
more
gonna
knowledge.
actually let you explain this one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw this out there. It's where I need the explaining, and we've talked about it, and I still don't get it. How do you offer contracts to people before there's a draft?
Well,
and then not draft them.
Not only that, so
They're
they
signed. Like Connie
yeah.
Evinger was on fucking fire, like
Yeah.
losing her shit about it.
What do you mean?
She was signed to a
She
contract
signed
by
a
them,
contract,
but wasn't
told
drafted.
that they were going to pay her this X amount of money for this amount of fights, and then they didn't fucking draft her. Now she's got nothing.
So okay, so from
The
what
way I understand it.
From the way that I understood this, though, is it's a league that they have multiple teams, just
There's
like the
6
old
cities.
IFL, and
Six
they
cities?
Six
Yeah.
cities around the
six.
globe.
You
Six.
said 6 cities.
Yes.
Yeah, 6 cities, guys.
Sin City.
and so then they draft their teams, and then they're going to do like alternates. So Matt, talk me through how it works.
So each team has 20 fighters, I believe.
20.
20?
And
I
I
see
think
20.
there's 2 in each weight class.
I've seen 5.
Okay, so 20. Okay, continue though.
So each, I want,
Yeah.
from what I understand, there's like 20 fighters on each team. Each weight class has
Two
a
fighters.
main and a backup type
Okay.
thing. Obviously, I feel like the draft is a little bit cooked
giving
because
that to you.
somehow all the Brazilians ended up on the Brazil team. All of the
Oh, I wonder how that works.
All the Dagestani guys ended up on the Dubai team. You know,
There's someone else that was on. There was an American on the Dubai team, I thought.
There is.
Woodley was.
Woodley's #1 pick overall, and he went to Dubai. But
Okay.
is he going to fly to Dubai to train? I mean,
Probably
it's
not,
hard-
but-
isn't the head coach of the Dubai team Cain Velasquez?
Cain Velasquez,
Yes.
correct.
So they're all training at AKA. If they're even
Woodley's
training
training
together.
about 5 minutes from
I was going to say Woodley's at St.
No,
Charles
but-
MMA, so
But they can train wherever, is my understanding. But they're going to fight in those 6 cities. That's the only place the fights are going to
They're gonna
take
host,
place.
Yeah, each city's going to host an event.
Oh.
And it's going to be like a big ticket seller. Like, so pro bull riding is a similar sport where it's like you're an individual sport, and then they made a team event, and they had like the Austin Rattlers versus the Oklahoma Cowboys. And they,
time out. Can we take a minute that Matt knows about bull riding?
No, more
I know,
Really?
I know a couple
Bull
of bull
riding's
riders we can get on the show
awesome.
if Matt wants to go down the rabbit hole with
I
it.
love bull riding.
Oh my God. Okay,
Dave
continue,
Davis
please.
used to do it.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my Lord, that's scary. Continue, please.
But I talked to a fighter. I won't say his name. He was signed to a contract.
Okay.
He was not drafted. He says his contract doesn't go into effect unless they find him a fight. And
Okay, so he's not getting paid unless.
right. And right now he doesn't have a fight, but his manager said it looks like they got a fight for him, at which point the contract will kick in. Now that same fighter has a fight coming up, so
Okay.
I'm guessing he's not exclusive.
So okay. Then that's not too bad, I guess. That makes a little more sense because, like, literally, this GFL is putting out on all of their social media all the time of stuff that we signed this guy, we signed that guy, and then after the draft, they were signing more people.
Yeah.
So okay, so do you know
he's
what
a
happens
free
after?
agent.
Okay, but what happens after the draft? So if you didn't get drafted, can you still go?
I think as a backup, like
Yeah.
because I know the same fighter he's talking about. I talked to also.
Okay.
And he said that like he's the first alternate if someone gets hurt. Is
In,
what he
in his
told
weight
me.
class.
In his weight class.
He
Yeah.
doesn't know which weight class he's going to do because they're
So-
also shuffling the weight classes a little bit to make it a little so there's not much weight cutting.
Yeah, I saw that the weight classes are very different.
Yeah.
So, but he's an alternate that he would be drafted from any of the 6 teams if they
I
needed.
don't know. I don't know that part. I don't know that question.
I feel like the drafting was cooked a little bit, like I said, because of the location of the fighters and stuff like that. Also,
So-
if you watch the live stream, they revealed the entire draft in like the first 30 seconds accidentally, and they never referenced it again. But you had the entire draft in like the first 30 seconds, and then you had to watch the whole dog and pony show. So
Okay. Do we all think this is fake? I'm coming to the conclusion I think it's fake.
they have Mike Goldberg and Brendan Schaub and
I saw that. I
Robin
did-
Black and some other like notables. I mean, they have
I've messaged him trying to get a hold of somebody to try to get some cutman work with him, but I haven't heard nothing back. I know Sid G's also hit him up a few times and trying to get some work. I heard there's one person that I'll talk to you off camera about.
Okay.
We know who that is.
But
Does he wear a vest?
it just seems
what?
like
Does he wear a vest?
No.
it just seems like though that there's so much to this that kind of lends back to the ideas of like the XFC when they were giving out stock options and the medical insurance.
Well, remember the
and-
IFL with
Well,
the team.
the IFL was, but the IFL was real, and
But I
then it goes
understand that.
it goes all the
Just-
way back to the idea of the World Combat League. You know, whenever there were teams in towns and they traveled and that kind of thing. But those people were real. They were really from the areas that they were in. I mean, for the most part, this seems kind of just convoluted, but.
But the
When is-
names they've got involved, though, are big enough
Well-
that makes me think it's not fake.
Or they said, okay, cool, if we actually do this, you're going to get paid. So, but the thing, like I said, that gets me, and we talked about this a little bit before, the main guy that's running this is a Vince McMahon from the XFL bigwig. And so, is it staged? Is it whatever? I don't know. But if
From the XFL, he's the next McMahon partner.
something to that effect. So, but my whole thing is that like, when's the fight supposed to happen, Matt? When's the first fight in this?
I think in the summer.
You have to talk on the microphone or no one knows what you're saying. I know you've been in broadcasting for like 3 days, but that's how this game works.
State of the Holiday
Damn
Express.
rookies.
I stayed in holiday, yeah. No, I think it's the summer is going to be the first event, and I think, just like you said, they're going to have 6 events in each of the host cities, and I don't know, they haven't talked about any kind of TV deal or any kind of broadcast
Yeah,
deal.
that's the other thing. I know I've heard nothing about a broadcast.
Yeah,
Right.
literally. Like, I heard that Brendan Schaub and Mike Goldberg were involved or had gotten the calls. I just don't. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments or on our Instagram at MMA Bourbon. And is the GFL actually going to happen? Are you excited for it? So Matt, are you excited for it? The idea of it?
The novelty and the curiosity of the whole, and then also there's some legends on the show.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
you know, if-
Absolutely.
There's talk about Dylan Dennis and Tony Ferguson fighting.
Interesting.
I mean, that's gonna get some people to tune in to see Dylan Dennis get beat up.
But an MMA person would tune in for that because
Yeah.
not everyone's going to know who Dylan Dennis
Well,
is.
yeah, I
Right.
mean, they're heavily banking on UFC guys that have.
I gotcha.
They're banking on
what-
Their legacy.
They're banking on Silva, and they're banking on some of the OGs to really
Rashard
sell
Evans.
it. Yeah, to
Okay.
really sell it. And I get it. Julie Budd's on there. There's quite a few.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Fleece
Interesting.
Herring, is he on there? Or
No, who was it? Julie Budd,
Paige Van Zant's on there.
Paige Van Zant's on there. Someone else is on there.
Okay. I get the idea of it, but I don't know. Let's see how it plays out.
Patricky Pitbull.
Really?
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't
Wow.
know if he got drafted, but I know
I
he
haven't seen him
signed.
get drafted.
Well, he signed. He
signed.
signed with GFL.
That's crazy.
I want to say they've signed like 400 guys.
Yeah, Patricky and
Guys,
not Patricio.
400
by the way.
guys for 50 fights?
For 120 spots.
120 spots. Okay, that makes sense. All right. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to jump over to the world of boxing because one Mr. Jim Range and his favorite boxer, Jake Paul, brought some real interesting news to this. And that is that Jimmy loves Jake Paul. Anyway, no. So I heard that there was supposed to be this big fight with Jake Paul and Canelo. So apparently this
Well, it's
isn't,
supposed to be-
this isn't a real thing. Tell me what's going on.
So it was supposed to be a unification fight between Terrence Crawford and Canelo.
Well, I thought he was
That's what it
supposed
was
to fight
supposed to
Bud.
be.
That was where it was always going to go.
That's where it's going to go, and all of a sudden, stalled a little bit, and middle of the week last week, he's fighting Jake Paul, which is like, that makes no sense at all, but every major
Outlet.
legitimate source
Yeah, there was a
called
lot of
it.
media
Right.
talking about this.
And then Turkey Al-Sheikh stepped in. And apologies if I didn't say it exactly right. I think I got it.
I'm
I've
impressed
been
you
trying.
got that out. If he was Canadian, that
stepped
would have been a
in
different one, eh?
and stopped it and said no. And he wound up signing Canelo to a 4-fight deal, which is going to put Canelo overall with his fights over $1 billion now. So he's hitting that level. And his first fight's coming up in April, I think. May, I'm sorry. And then he's going to fight Crawford for the unified belt in September. So he's doing a tune-up fight.
So basically what you're telling me here is that Mr. Canelo used one Jake Paul,
He
your
played-
favorite boxer,
he
played
played.
him. Are you sure that Jake Paul wasn't involved, like, in the whole thing? Do you think he's getting a cut? Is it going to come out that it's Jake Paul Promotions doing this fight?
At this point, I want to know what Canelo's fucking net worth is.
It's got to be massive.
I mean, that guy
Producer Matt, is that something you can look up
That
and see
guy
what
is
Canelo's
just-
net worth is?
fucking making millions and millions and millions. of
Oh,
dollars.
it's insanity.
I think he's making more than Mayweather. I mean Mayweather.
He's number
gotta
two.
be-
He's number 2 to Mayweather. This will put him up with Mayweather.
It
Okay,
says 275.
275 million is what he's worth.
What's Mayweather's net worth? 4, maybe 500.
So he's going to be worth...
Well, revenue will be, which will put him up. His net
Well,
worth
sure.
from this should
No,
put
I
him
get
up.
it.
402 million.
Okay,
Jesus.
so I wasn't far off. With
Is Canelo a U.S. citizen or he's not? Is he?
No,
he's Mexican.
He's Mexican.
So he wouldn't have to pay taxes on that. To
Well, I
the
mean-
Mexican government.
Yeah, and, you know, he'd get deported if he was here. Unless we make...
he's
him-
got visas.
Let's hope. Anyway. We're building a wall. It's fine.
He's not a race car driver coming in with Formula One. He gets held up at the border.
By comparison, WWE got a $4 billion deal for Netflix.
Okay.
Canelo got a $1 billion deal by himself, which is like staggering.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think. And all because that he messed with Jimmy Range's favorite fighter, Jake Paul. You know, that's how I refer to him everywhere I go.
I know.
right? Yeah.
Probably-
Do you want the picture of his face tattooed on my ass to show him when you talk about it?
It was probably at work if we're going to do wrestling terms.
I 100% think this is a work.
Yeah.
Do you not, Matt? You don't think this is a work?
I think
Talk to the
Jake Paul
microphone.
had a little bit.
Jake's got connections in
He's
over there.
probably
He's with
got-
PFL.
He's probably got a little fucking something.
Well,
to say.
Oh,
exactly.
you think Jake Paul was in on the?
On the work. It was a work.
Absolutely.
I
I
think he
don't.
got the wool pulled over him.
No,
I think Jake got blindsided.
Yeah.
Dana White even said,
No.
he goes,
No. I don't buy that.
Canelo and that, there was no reason there even should have been a discussion with Paul because he can't touch Saudi numbers. And it's a completely different level, Jake Paul versus them.
I'm with you. I think it's a work. I think that this is a...
I mean, whatever. I don't give a shit. The guy's getting paid. Good for him.
Well, I mean, I
you
get
know,
that, but...
What's Jake got to earn about?
Well, my whole thing is I look at it this way.
Maybe he's getting a percentage.
What is he get? Is he getting a cut? Is he going to get a promotions portion of it?
Right.
Because then you get, so that's how the boxing world works. Everyone who fights has their own promotion that goes with it. So everyone gets a piece of the action whenever on the promoting side of it. So they get some of the pay-per-view buys and all of that. Is Jake Paul involved because this is part of his thing?
No, so here's what Paul got out of it. Take this step back. Jake Paul promotes
Excuse
himself,
me.
right?
Jimmy Range's favorite fighter, Jake Paul.
Jimmy Range's favorite fighter, Jake Paul.
Yes.
Or if it was worked, he played it perfectly. Guess what? I was scheduled to fight Canelo, but he got a better deal than he could have gotten from me. He got a 4-fight deal. Who wants to step up and fight me now and replace Canelo?
You mentioned the boxers and the promotion. There's also news coming out that Dana White's looking to revoke the Ali Act.
It'll never happen.
Him and the TKO guys are looking to get into boxing, and they want to pull that.
That will never happen. The Ali Act has become so ingrained in the way that the fighters work, and it's not going to happen because it's all about how promotions are shown, how much money is shown, and how much they're going. That will never change in boxing.
He is homie with the 47th president. Just saying.
Well, and once we get the 51st state of Canada and get this whiskey fixed, we'll be doing great.
So then we've got Newsom and Trudeau together if we do that. That scares the shit out of me.
I don't see him getting it revoked. I see him trying to get it revoked.
It
And I think
will
there's
never
many
get
people.
revoked.
I think there's many
Yeah,
people
they
before
can't
him
get
that
it
tried to get
revoked.
it revoked. It's set to protect the fighters.
Absolutely.
The
it
fighters
is.
won't go for it. It won't happen. No.
No,
Well,
because
it's a government thing too. It's not just fighters. It's
Right.
a government.
and it's all about the
law.
money that they make and how it's distributed and
Right.
things like that.
And Connor Rain spot on. 69 shows, brother.
Good to see you. All right. Let's see. One more this evening, and that is going to be my gotcha question as we move here to the end of the show. this one happened about 8 hours ago, and one favorite fighter of really all of us who's been around the game forever, Dustin Poirier, wants to make the walk one more time to the cage. And he has, again, of course, called out one Conor McGregor.
So it's interesting. They wanted him to fight Patty.
And
he
said,
goes, Patty's,
"Nope."
he goes, Patty's legit fighter, but he's not legacy. I'm not walking out for my last fight against him.
I
He
think
goes,
that-
I want to make it a legacy, legendary fight to go out.
Well, I think that too that they wanted to use the fact that okay, Patty beat Dustin Poirier to build the legend killer.
Yeah.
Because this is where I wanted to go with this, and you set this up correctly. They are trying to build a star again because there aren't enough stars in the UFC right now. Paddy Pimblett is definitely one of them that could be it.
He's got a personality for it.
Sean O'Malley is another one that could be it. But so they're looking for that. But Dustin Poirier said nope. And so now he is endlessly been trolling Conor on Twitter to try to make this happen. And so, number one, Craig Nasello, does Conor ever come back to the world of combat sports?
Keep saying he is. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, he really doesn't need to, but then again, if all these fucking lawsuits keep coming up for him, he might have to.
I mean, at what point in time does it all start to truly, I mean, you live on a Lamborghini yacht and you're screwing up everywhere that you go, multiple lawsuits, you know, that $100 million or whatever he got from the Mayweather fight, maybe going pretty quick. So, producer Matt, does he ever come back?
Excuse me.
I'm going to quote Japanese legend Bob Sapp. The more money you make, the harder the punches feel. I don't think he's going to come back. I think
don't
he's
either.
got too many things in the...
Jimmy Range.
Man, look this up for me if you can. I thought he just signed something with BKFC that he's actually going to fight somebody.
Not a chance. They will not let him do it in the UFC. He has one fight left on his contract.
I know, but I could have sworn I saw something this week pop up with that. I could be wrong. But no, I don't. He will never get through USDA or whatever the new doping agency is and that
Oh, no.
to get it. So he will never fight in the UFC again.
He called out Jeremy Stevens, but
Well,
Okay, so it wasn't that it was. He called them out. All right.
yeah, but Conor's
Somebody
calling
posted
everybody.
it as
And
but somebody posted it as they were fighting, and I
Well-
didn't.
But how long is his contract with the UFC?
It's irrelevant. It's
He has one fight left. It
He's-
doesn't
he's
matter
never
how long
fights.
it is.
Really?
Yeah.
they go in perpetuity.
Yep. No matter what, you have one held, and so he's got one left, from what I understand.
Jordan Dowdy clause.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a great show. I hope that you enjoyed the Canadians and how much they messed us up tonight, because Canadian whiskey's not good, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care what you say, it's not good. And until they become our 51st state, which is, you know, in the works, be fine. Then maybe we can fix this whole whiskey thing that you got up there. If not, take off hosers. And again, thank you very much.
That was good.
That was, wasn't it? I got that.
He
so.
played that.
I did. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us for our 69th episode of the MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, everybody.
See ya.